Peace, peace, family. Thank you for tuning in to The Vibrations with Kay. Babe, you can see my full body. Hold up.
No.
No, I mean, you can see like my full face.
Yeah.
I mean, like my full face.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for tuning in to The Vibrations with Kay. And today, I want to talk to y'all about, just my experience that I had that also helped me start my nonprofit at Mother Nature Heals. That link is below if you want to follow our Facebook page. Also, I got my teeth whitener for sale. It's 100% plant-based, no chemicals. Safe for pregnant women, children, whoever. It's safe. You're just gonna get your teeth white. You know what I'm saying? So definitely come shop. That link is below. I put that Etsy link below. So, but yes. So I want to talk about. So initially we're going to Africa. I went to Africa excited to be around people who appear to look like me, I guess, in this physical realm, this 3D realm. And it was actually even my thinking was very juvenile when I sit back and think about it, because I was like, okay, I want to go to Africa and I want to be around everybody who looks like me, who's more like me. I'll fit in more. It'll just be, I'm around all black people instead of all around Europeans. I grew up in places like Indiana where it was all white people in one school, you know what I'm saying? And it was maybe 3 black girls and I'm one of them, and I'm constantly having to fight for just being treated like a regular human being. People are always asking me to touch my hair, or people are always referring to me as ghetto just because I am. I have more melanin to my skin. I don't even like identifying myself as black anymore. Like, I'm so more than that. I'm energy. So I'm just very powerful energy. That's why I project darker skin, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, just being around white people growing up a lot in my life, I was ready to, see something different, you know what I'm saying? Even though when I was in like places like Alabama, Louisiana, I would see like predominantly Mississippi, depending on what places you're at, I would see predominantly black people, but I would still see, some white people and, just a few white people, but it would be predominantly black. So when I went to Africa, everybody was like, they actually have a lot of Arabs there. Like, no one really talks about that, but they have a lot of Arabs in East Africa, first and foremost, because East Africa is right there, it's close to the Middle East. So with it being close to the Middle East, they actually got enslaved by the Arabs and the Chinese as well. I went to a museum when I was out in Tanzania. I was in Stone City. It was lit. If you ever get a chance, check out the museums out there. They're amazing. They will educate you and definitely open up your eyes. But I realized the majority of East Africa was enslaved by the Arab and the Chinese. And the Chinese were so brutal with enslaving the Africans that they sometimes would like just cut off their whole penis. The whole penis would get cut off, and a lot of men will actually die through this process. And the one that survived were actually the top. They were the #1 sellers. A black man without a penis. So, they were very, very brutal. The Arabs were bad as well. It's the same thing that happened in America that white people did to us. They raped the women. They actually, when I went to their museums and seeing how they was treated by the people who enslaved them, and then also when I seen how a lot of them still to this day are being enslaved legally by the Arabs, it blew my mind. Because in America, we're not going for that shit, you know what I'm saying? But over there in Africa, they are. They still, majority of them still have slave mentalities, and that goes for here in America as well. But here in America, we have our crowd of woke people is a little bit bigger than from my experience, what I experienced in Tanzania, because I went to 4 different cities, lived in 3 of them, and really was out there getting to know people, meeting people who knew me from my channel, just different things like that, and just getting experience, different vibes. So, and Swahili and English is the 2 main languages in Tanzania, so you will find a lot of people who speak great English in Tanzania, which was amazing. Yeah, so basically, hold up. My fiance made me a watercress smoothie. Watercress is very high in nutrients. This is just a random fact. Watercress is very high in nutrients. It's a good detox. It's great for you, and it tastes really good. I've been craving it. So yeah, my fiance whipped it up in a smoothie with some mangoes and some agave for a natural sweetener. And it's all alkaline, like they say, be approved. You know what I'm talking about. But yes, so I noticed there that a lot of people, like, even though they're all, most of them are black and Arab, the Arabs actually treat you worse than how white people treat you in America. When a lot of Tanzanians see American people, they think of money. They don't really value you. They don't really look at you like them. They know you're not from there. They treat you just as if you were a European or, Caucasian tourist. So, it's very, like, just mind-opening to see, like, I could go somewhere, and just because we all have a dark skin don't mean they fuck with me. I mean, they do, but they see money when they see Americans. They don't see people. They don't see genuine souls trying to find something new, find something different, and really just, be a community with one. It's all about separation everywhere you go in the world, you know what I'm saying? So even there in Tanzania, they are very segregated. I met this guy. I wanted to do an interview with him, but it was very hectic in Tanzania with the time change. We probably still can do an interview, like, virtually. He's on my Instagram, so I'm gonna hit him up. But he basically just told me a story about how his parents they were from 2 separate tribes, right? They came together. His mother got pregnant by the guy from the other tribe. So, due to the laws and regulations of that tribe, he had to be murdered because his mother had a baby with someone outside of their tribe. So his grandmother actually this is a story that I'm being told from this young man, and it's just amazing to me. His grandmother actually went to the woods and killed a goat and just laid him in the woods for, I guess, him to kind of fend for himself. So I guess another people from another village found him and raised him. And it just goes to show, even with their own people within the same mainland of Tanzania, they will kill babies over separation, over tribal, matters. And I'm never supporting that. I'm never about that. I'm about all one. We're all a part of the same cell. So with that being said, to look at other people, it's the same thing as far as here in America with gangs, or people from certain neighborhoods can't go to another neighborhood without being killed. It's all linked. You're not going to Africa and it's going to be like, no, it's the same thing over there in different ways. So, it just really opened up my eyes. I took my son. So my son doesn't go to daycare here in the States. He did. I didn't like it. I didn't like how they were treating him. I have a lot of standards that I want for him as far as his diet, what I want him to eat, and just like what I want him to intake. And I just didn't really feel like that daycare was doing that for me. So I took him out. He hasn't been in since. So when we got to Tanzania, it was a daycare. A few houses down from actually where we lived. Everybody in the neighborhood was saying it's a pretty good daycare, so we decided to take our son there. So long story short, I paid like 100,000 T shillings for a week, and he ended up only going for 2 days. Now, don't imagine that 100,000 shillings is like $40, so it wasn't that big of a loss to me. My son's safety and his health and well-being was always my number one priority. So, but yeah, good thing is you can get your kids in daycare for $40 a week, but it's like you get what you pay for. So basically one day he told me he came in there, my son was crying, and he had like a little scratch on the middle of his forehead. And he, came in concerned, asking me what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, oh, kids are being kids, kids just cry. In the midst of her telling him this, another little girl who who was at the daycare, brought the teacher, the whip or the welt that she was hitting the kids with. So when the teacher brought that to her, my fiance asked her, like, hey, so y'all in here hitting the kids? She's like, oh, no, we would never do that. Just lying exactly, right to his face. Blatantly just disrespectful. And yeah, I mean, it's just and of course he never went back. Of course I really wanted to go do something, but I didn't because I'm a better person and I'm growing. But I really wanted to go over there and, you know what I'm saying, on some late night when I know some kids ain't there, blow the place up. Because it's like, why are you over there hitting people's kids, torturing people's kids? I don't hit my own son. So nobody else is about to hit him. So, but I didn't, because I'm a better person. But it's just, okay, versus places like, they have daycares here in the States that you can take your kids to, but they have daycares where you could actually have cameras, where you can watch your kid all day on the phone if you want, while they're, at this daycare, so you can see what's going on, so you can feel more comfortable as a parent, because, like, your baby's your baby. You want to make sure your baby's safe, your baby's healthy, everything is good and okay with your child. You don't want to have to wonder if somebody's hitting your child, if somebody's feeding your child something you don't want them to be fed, just different things of that nature. So that's another reason why I started my nonprofit, our nonprofit, me and my family, Mother Nature Heals Corporation, because it's just a way to, first and foremost, I do very, very soon want to open up my own in-home daycare after I have the baby at home and after everything gets settled in. And I will need contributions and donations to do this. I want to have a safe haven, a place, and this in my home is just the beginning. It's going to be expanded. I want it to be a chain of a natural, healthy, it's going to be like a holistic daycare. You understand what I'm saying? So today, what's today's date? July 25th, 2021. I'm stating I want to start a holistic daycare, right? Running underneath my nonprofit. So I definitely want you guys to stay tuned in. Please donate to Mother Nature Heals. Your donations will go to help me helping the world. But yeah, I want to have a place where kids can come and meditate, do yoga, have healthy interactions. My son does not hit people's children. Like, it's been times when we go to playgrounds, other kids just walk up and hit other kids, or they just push them down, or do some kind of toxic behavior, and that's probably because that's what they're seeing at the home. But here at, our holistic daycare, I don't want any of that. I do actually want the kids to learn some form of martial arts, and have a healthy way of like sparring, but it's more like your mind, body, and soul. So it starts at the youth. So if the youth, mind, body, and soul are in tune, when they have children and so forth and go on, everybody can be healed. We don't have to start off with trauma from the daycare, trauma from our parents, trauma from whatever we have been through, whatever we have experienced. We want our kids to be healthy mentally, physically, spiritually in every way, and that's with feeding them nutrients. That's with giving them love, care, and affection. That's with showing them what you would want them to be. You cannot expect your children to be anything other than a reflection of you. You know, so we have to, as parents, we have to really look at the children, at the youth, and wonder, how can we heal? How can we help them become way better than us? How can we prevent them from going through the trauma and the experiences that we have experienced? First and foremost, you have to cut off anybody in your life who is not on the same journey or the same vibe as you. You need to be surrounded by people who are like you, people who want to eat healthy like you, people who want to listen to the positive things you have to say, people who want to grow, people who give you positive advice, people who give you positive energy. You know what I'm saying? You want to be around somebody who is like you, and you have to also become the embodiment of what you want to be surrounded by. So if I don't want to be surrounded by healthy vegans, you know what I'm saying, who like, you know, dope ass hippie music or whatever, who want to drink watercress smoothies all day, I have to become that. And then you will attract, your vibe attracts your tribe. So definitely just become what you want, and your children will become like you. Get them away from any toxic behavior, even if that's your parents, you know, the grandparents, even if that's your sister, whoever. If you have a family, right, who does not support your healthy lifestyle, who does not support you growing, who does not support you doing better with your life, you know, don't hang around them. That goes for friends, that goes for family, that goes for whoever. You are here to set an example for yourself, for the world, for your children. So I just wanted to speak on like my experience with daycare. I didn't like the daycare here in the States. I didn't like daycare in East Africa. I won't like probably daycare anywhere, because first and foremost, there's not even any daycares that I've heard of that don't feed the children meat, which is death, which vibrates at a low vibration, which is just not good for yourself, your child, or your health. And it's not good for the universe, it's not good for the environment, it's not good for your karma. Because if you are eating dead meat, you are now a part of the problem of overconsumption of life, of another animal. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like to say plants are alive as well, because yes, they are. Just like this beautiful tree sitting here next to me. Yes, plants are alive, but guess what? If I have an avocado, if I eat an avocado and I take the seed out of the middle and I throw it outside, I could plant more avocados, ladies and gentlemen. Can't do that with the fish. You can't do that with the dog, the cat. You can't do that with the cow. You can't do that with the pig. You can't do that with anything. So we need to look into more of, we want to eat things that can renew our cells, replenish our cells. If every 30 days you are what you eat, then why would you want to consume something low vibrational that has been tortured, that didn't want to die for you to eat it? Why would you want to consume that when you can just go to nature, go get a plant? And I'm going to do another video. We have a farmer's market up the street from our house in Florida that got everything local. Strawberries, blueberries, peaches, plums, you name it, watermelon, whatever, potatoes, tomatoes, onions, everything. I couldn't even find nothing like this in East Africa. So, you know, I'm going to do a video there too. Like I said, I want to record that scenery, show y'all how amazing our own country even is. But yeah, so keep staying tuned in. Definitely subscribe, like this channel. If you have any questions or concerns, please inbox me on Instagram at Oshun the Healer. Again, that's just Oshun the Healer, OSHUN the Healer. The link is in the description below. I love y'all. Have a safe, positive, blessed, stress-free day. I'm out. Send a love, peace, and light. Peace.